Hello everyone, welcome to the sixth lecture of CS 531 Memory Systems and Architecture. So we are discussing from last 2 weeks regarding the recent advancement in DRAM architecture, especially how to reduce the refresh overhead of DRAM memories. Today also we'll discuss a related paper. The paper title is Improving the DRAM Performance in 3D ICs via Temperature Aware Refresh. So, but before starting today's lecture, let me inform you that this is the last week that we are discussing regarding the DRAM refresh. Today we'll discuss this paper and tomorrow we'll discuss one more paper and then we'll stop this area, means the DRAM refresh area. Next week we'll discuss two very interesting proposal regarding how to handle the row hammer problem. What is row hammer, that I think you already know. So since this row hammer is very much related with DRAM refresh, so what I have decided that let me explain at least two interesting problems, two interesting solution of how to handle the row hammer problem. So without explaining the row hammer problem, the DRAM refresh part is not complete. So let me continue with today's lecture. The paper that today we'll discuss is based on two things. First, it based on 3D ICs, and next we can say it's based on temperature. And one more term that is very important for today's lecture is 3D stack DRAM. That is, yeah, 3D stack DRAM. Okay, one more point that I have to mention before starting today's lecture. I'm not designing or I am not design any PPT, specific PPT for this paper, because most of the thing written in this paper will be easy for you to understand after all these discussions. Whatever the basic concept written in this in the introduction section and as well as the other section of this paper will be easily understandable for you. So that I found there is no need to design a separate PPT for this lecture. I'll only explain the most important thing of this paper, and remaining things will be very easy for you to understand. Back to this thing, to this concept, what is 3D ICs? So mainly 3D ICs are designed in that there are multiple layers in a single chip, and in the bottom layer there will be all the cores, and there are private L1 cache as well as the L2 cache, or you can say the TCMP or the NUCA architecture that I have explained in class. This type of NUCA architecture will be designed in the bottom layer, and the upper layer of this 3D design will be for DRAM memories. Let me show you a figure. This is a figure that of 3D DRAM architecture. Let me expand. So this is a 3D stack DRAM structure that is mentioned in this paper. So you can say there are three layers in this 3D chip or 3D IC. So this is the bottom layer. The bottom layer has all the cores as well as the private L1 cache, and the L2 cache is also there. And this is a complete NUCA architecture that we have discussed in class. And on top of that, you can see there are some upper layers. These layers are all DRAM memories, and all these layers are connected with some vertical lines. They are called through silicon vias. All these things are I already explained in class. So this type of DRAM memory design is called 3D stack DRAM, because these DRAM's memories are placed on top of a IC or top of a multi-core processor. So they are called 3D stack DRAM. So what is the advantage of 3D stack DRAM? Because these 3D stack DRAMs are the one of the basic, the most important disadvantage of DRAM is they are slow. So if we place DRAM on top, just top of this execution layer, then the communication latency will be reduced. Also, the bandwidth will be increased. So to reduce the major disadvantage of DRAM, which is the bandwidth and the latency issues, it is better to put the DRAM memories just top of the execution layer. And if we do these, then and in that case, the DRAM is called 3D stack DRAM, and the entire chip is called 3D IC. The basics of DRAM that will be required for today's presentation or today's lecture is already known to you. And this diagram that I am showing here, this diagram is already explained in the last class with a more animated details. I'm not going at this moment, I'm not going for the animated details, but from this figure, you can easily guess the rank structure I'm repeating it again. A rank has multiple chips. Each chip has multiple banks. So this is called a rank structure. And during the refresh, how refresh performed, forgot about the non-blocking concept that I explained. Without non-blocking, in the normal scenario, if we are refreshing this row here, then the same row will be refreshed here, in all other chips as well as all other banks also. This is how the refresh is performed. At least if you are performing a refresh here in normal case, this refresh must be performed in this row of bank 0, this row of bank 0, and this row of bank 0. This is must, in normal case. So this you have to remember. Here, if you go for this paper, then here the concept of rank they are saying a little bit different. It varies sometimes from design to design. Since this is a 3D stack DRAM, so what they are saying, this is their rank. This is one rank. This is another rank. This is third rank. This is fourth rank. All are vertically connected with through silicon vias. And in each rank there are some banks. These are called banks. So it is almost related, so you can relate it. So if we relate this design with this design, then what you, yeah, we say that since this is a rank, so if we give so if this memory controller supplies a command here, then all these chips will execute this command simultaneously. So here they are not showing any chip, so you can consider that this is a chip and each chip has only one bank. So if you consider this way, then you can relate this picture with this picture. Okay. So we'll now only consider that this is a bank. The basic of refresh is already known to you, and how the auto refresh is performed is already explained. How auto refresh divide the rows into multiple groups, and each refresh command refreshes only a particular set of rows, that is called a particular group, and executing refreshing a particular set of rows takes TRFC time. All this thing is discussed, and the difference between the two refresh command is TRFI, that is called refresh interval. All these things are already discussed, and I hope you remember this. So I'm not wasting time on explaining all these things again. One thing that I have not discussed in previous lectures is the retention period. Normally, I said that in normal DRAM, the retention period is considered as 64 millisecond, or the refresh period is 64 millisecond. So within this 64 millisecond, all the rows must be refreshed once. That means all these command, this TRFC, these three RFC command that is required to refresh all the rows must be performed every time within a single uh, refresh period, that is 64 millisecond. But that 64 millisecond refresh period is for ideal temperature. That means the temperature is, or the DRAM temperature is from 0 to 85 degrees centigrade. Up to this, the refresh period should be 64 millisecond. If the temperature is above 85 degrees centigrade, then the refresh period should be 32 millisecond. Why this difference? Because A, the temperature of the chip increases, the charges stored in the DRAM capacitor destroyed more rapidly. That's why if the temperature is higher, then the refresh period must be less. That means the row must be refreshed in a quicker interval. So this is the case of a normal DRAM design. But what is the difference between this normal DRAM and the 3D DRAM is, in this type of design, in this type of 3D architecture, the temperature is a major issue. Why? Because there is, for this internal layer, the heat dissipation is very problematic. Also, this layer is all the core, so this layer will produce more temperature. This will produce more temperature because of all the execution units are installed in this layer. So the DRAM layer, which is very close to this execution layer, will produce more temperature compared to this layer. Also, you can see that this DRAM layer is the intermediate layer, so there is a problem with heat dissipation, as well as this layer is very close to the execution layer. So the temperature issue in DRAM, or the 3D stack DRAM, is more compared to a normal DRAM memory. Here, the different banks may face different temperature values. The temperature, the bank facing temperature here will be much higher than the bank facing temperature in these ranks. So how to handle all this temperature in a 3D stack DRAM? So what is the problem? First of all, we have to understand. If we go for this design here, and what I said that in normal temperature of up to 85 degrees centigrade, the refresh period is 64 millisecond, and if it is more than 85, then refresh period is 32 millisecond. But how they tell what is the temperature? There are many components here, right? In a rank, there are many bank, many chips, and there are many banks. So what if when they are saying temperature, what is the temperature? These chips are independent units, so it may be possible the temperature of this chip and the temperature of this chip are not same. They may be different. For example, you can it may be happen that the temperature of this chip is 85 degree, this is 70, this is 60 degree, but this is 95 degree. If this is the condition, then in normal DRAM we have to go for the worst case scenario. That means we have to assume that the temperature of the entire rank is 95 degree. And if the temperature of entire rank is 95 degree, then the refresh period should be reduced from 64 millisecond to 32 millisecond. That means the rows must be refreshed very rapidly. And one basic means concept is, if we reduce the refresh interval or reduce the refresh time, then this time will also reduce. This time the refresh interval time will also reduce, but this time will not reduce. This RFC time will be same. So I hope you know the difference between refresh period and refresh interval. This is called refresh period. The complete is called refresh period, that is 64 millisecond, or sometimes we also call it as retention time, and this is called refresh interval. So yeah, so don't mix these two concepts, they are completely different thing. And this is the refresh interval, this is a different concept. And this is required between, this is the time gap between the two refresh command, and these concept I already explained. So what I was saying about the problem with temperature in a normal DRAM is, if any of this bank has a higher temperature, then the DRAM controller must go with this peak temperature, and based on this peak temperature, the refresh interval will be decided. Sorry, not refresh interval. This refresh period will be decided, that it should be 32 millisecond. And if this refresh period is reduced, then all these values, this refresh interval values must be reduced. These values must be reduced. The temperature issue is more in case of 3D stack DRAM. In this table, they have shown some interesting parameters, some interesting results. If we see, this is the temperature, and at 45 degree, and you can see this is the ideal temperature. At 85 degrees centigrade, the retention time or the refresh period should be 64 millisecond. So if the temperature is goes to 95 degrees centigrade, then the retention time must be 32. If the temperature goes to 105 degrees centigrade, then retention time must be 16 millisecond, not more than this. If we go for more 32 millisecond of refresh time in this case, then maybe some row will be discharged before refreshing. Okay, and if it is hotter than 105 degrees centigrade, then the retention time will be even less. That is just 8 millisecond. And if you see, there is a connection, there is a relationship between this retention time and the refresh interval. This refresh interval is this interval, this REFI. So the refresh interval is here, it is 15. This also based on this, yes, since this retention time is decreasing, so refresh interval will also decrease like this. So these the results here shown that during each refresh interval, for example, from here to here, this is the refresh interval. So during each refresh interval, how many times or what is the percentage of time that a bank is blocked or a rank is blocked for just refresh operation? You can here you can see that if this is the refresh interval time from here to here, then this is the time where this bank or rank was blocked for refresh. For example, suppose if the density is 32 GB, then the TRFC time is 640 nanosecond. What is TRFC? This is TRFC. But you can see that at 45 degree temperature, the refresh duty cycle. Refresh duty cycle is this RFC divided by refresh interval. That means this parameter, as I said, the percentage of time which is required to refresh this rows during this refresh interval. So you can see here for a 32 GB density, the refresh to execute the RFC time is this, and if the chip temperature is 45 degrees centigrade, then almost 4% time in each refresh interval is required just to refresh. That means in each refresh interval, 4% time the rank is blocked for refresh. But let's see the situation when the temperature goes higher. Let me see when the chip temperature is 105 degrees centigrade. If you see when the chip temperature is 105 degrees centigrade, then during each refresh interval, that means this refresh interval, 32% time is required just to refresh this DRAM rows. That means each refresh interval, 32% of time you cannot do any normal read write operation. So now you can, I hope you can understand the overhead of refresh according to the temperature gain, increase of temperature. If it is more than 105, then 65% of time is, or more than half amount of time is wasted just to refresh the rows. So increasing that, if the temperature increases, then the performance of DRAM degrade very significantly. This graph I have explained many times, and I think you will easily understand what this graph is saying. This graph is saying that the refresh latency or this TRFC time is gradually increasing. It is gradually increasing. So again, one more important point: be sure that you know all these things. I'm not very explaining in very detail the concept of RFC, then refresh interval, then retention time. All these things must be clear to you, and their relationship with each other must be very clear, and that will be clear if you just go to this slide and play this slide in slideshow mode. Then you will easily understand the relationship between all this, and this is very important for you. So to reduce these temperature issues, this paper proposes an interesting idea. What the idea is, they said if this is the 3D architecture, then in this 3D architecture, temperature will vary from one bank to another bank within the rank. So the same case that I've discussed here, that maybe this particular chip is working on 95 degrees centigrade, and all other chips are working on less than 85 degrees centigrade. So the same thing may be possible here, and maybe with different ranges, maybe 85 degree, 105 degree, and above 100. There are many different ranges possible in 3D stack DRAM. So instead of going for a worst case temperature for every time, this paper proposes temperature aware refresh, a new technique, and they call this technique as STAR. What this the technique proposes is, suppose we are considering this particular rank. So is if in this particular rank, all these five banks are executing in a temperature like, for example, 65 to 70 degrees centigrade. But this particular bank is operating at 105 degrees centigrade. It may be, it is possible, but there are many ways, many reason for this. One possible reason may be for the process variation. Because of some process variation, because of some design time issues, the temperature the temperature of this bank is very high. Operating temperature of this bank is very high. So in this case, in normal original DRAM, what will happen, that it will go for this memory time. In case of 105, what is the retention time? 16 millisecond. The retention time should be 16 millisecond. But if you observe it, that this 16 millisecond is only required for this bank. The other banks can, for other banks, 64 millisecond is enough, because all of these are operating between 60 to 80. For example, they are fitting in this, for example, they are fitting in this range. So for all other banks, 64 millisecond retention time is enough. But only one bank is 105, so it should be 16. So what their proposal is, that instead of applying a uniform retention time or uniform refresh period for all the banks in a rank, these their technique said that they will apply retention time separately for each bank and based on the temperature of each bank. For example, if the temperature of this bank is 105, then retention time should be 16. If it is 65, the retention time should be 64. If it is, for example, if the temperature of this bank is 50, then it should be retention time should be 90 milliseconds, like this. So based on the temperature of the bank, the refresh interval of this that particular not refresh interval, the retention time of or refresh period of that particular bank will be decided. This is their main idea. Everything else written in this paper will be easily understandable. Now to understand the implementation details of TAR, that means how to use different refresh period for different bank within a rank, we need to understand some more basic concept regarding a auto refresh within a bank. So these slide, whatever I'm explaining here, is already discussed in last lecture. So when we want to refresh all the rows in each refresh interval, then the memory controller divide these rows into a separate group, and when the first refresh command will come, this will take TRFC time, and this refresh command will refresh 4 rows according to this example. I'm not going in detail of this example. These are already explained in last class. So the first refresh command will execute these 4 rows, and then after some time, after a refresh interval time, that is t refresh interval time, another refresh command will come, and that refresh command will refresh the next 4 rows. It will refresh the next 4 rows, and again then another refresh interval will come, which will refresh the last 4 rows. So there are two things is required here. First is, for example, suppose after this situation, at this point, memory controller should send the next refresh command after certain amount of time. That is called the refresh interval time. How memory controller will count this? To count this refresh interval, there should be a counter here. There should be a one counter here for each rank. For this particular rank, there will be a counter here. This counter is called refresh interval counter. Based on this interval, refresh interval counter, it will count this time, and after this time, it will send the second refresh command. Now the next point is, when the second refresh command will be issued, how the memory this rank should know that this rank they should start refreshing from this particular row, because these 4 rows are already refreshed by this refresh command. So this refresh command should start refreshing from this row number 5. How it should know? So there should be a counter here also, that is called row counter, and the value of row counter should be 5 here. That means the next refresh command should start from row number 5. So that counter is called row counter. So in normal DRAM refresh or normal DRAM design, one refresh interval counter and one row counter is required for each rank. I hope this is clear to you. Again, if it is not clear, try to understand it. What I am saying, one refresh interval counter and one row counter is required for each rank in case of auto refresh in normal DRAM. Now, if we want to implement the same concept of TAR, then we have to do some more changes. So here in this paper, you can consider this is the rank. Normally, the way this diagram is drawn here, we consider this as a chip. But for this particular design, since if we go to the upper diagram, so in this diagram, there is in each rank there is in each chip there is only one bank. So a collection of bank can be considered as a rank here. So here also in this particular, actually this diagram is the complete architectural design of TAR. So these collection of banks you can consider as a rank. Okay. So now how they can perform the concept of TAR. What the concept of TAR says, the refresh interval is based on the bank temperature. If the temperature of bank 0 is 105, then refresh interval should be, sorry, not refresh interval, refresh period should be 16 milliseconds. And if this particular bank, if this temperature is 85, then its refresh period should be 64 milliseconds. So it will vary. The refresh time or refresh period or retention time should vary based on the temperature. And in this case, it was uniform, and it's always go for peak temperature. It's the worst case temperature, which is not the case here. So how to handle this here? So here, what I explained, that one refresh interval counter and one row counter is enough for this entire rank. But this is not possible here. For here, since each bank will have different retention time, so the refresh interval counter is required for each bank separately. So that's why all these refresh interval counters is required. One refresh interval counter is required for each bank in the rank. Plus the row counter also. Here I said the concept of row counter. The same row counter here, since each bank will be refreshed independently. So the row counter is also required for all the banks separately. So for each bank there should be a row counter here. This is the main important part, that all for all bank there should be a refresh interval counter, and for all bank there should be a row counter. And when one bank is refreshing, other banks may not refresh, because the refresh interval and their retention time should not be same. And how they are managing all these things. So before discussing how they are managing this very this concept of tar, let me explain you how they are calculating temperature. This part is same as in this proposed paper as well as in other baseline paper. For example, in this case also how we are calculating the temperature. So calculating the temperature, each bank has a sensor, temperature sensor. So you can see there is a temperature sensor in the middle of each bank. You can consider the same here, sensor is placed here also. So based on this sensor, the temperature of each bank will be counted, and that temperature will be forwarded to this mode register. And in mode register, normally that temperature is stored. So as I said, in normal case, in normal DRAM design, what happens there are basically they consider two temperature range. One is up to 85 and one is above 85. So in this case, the mode register will store only one bit, either 0 or 1. If it is 0, maybe it can be considered as less than 85. If it is 1, we can consider it as more than 85. So based on this mode register, the refresh counter value will change in the original DRAM, and there will be only one refresh counter for the entire range. In normal case, I'm saying about normal case. That means this case. But here, in this paper, they separated the temperature in four different ranges. So this is their range: 0 to 45 to 44 degree, 45 degree to 84 degree, 85 degree to 94 degree, and 95 degree to 105 degree. So this is their four range. So a bank can be of any of these temperature range. If bank is this range, then this. So there are, since there are four different temperature range, so to uniquely represent them, we need two bits. So this range may be 00, this is 01, this is 10, and this range can be represented as 11. So if we again come back in this design, then each bank, this temperature sensor will send a temperature value to this mode register, and based on some circuit, this temperature will be in either of this temperature range, as I explained. So based on this temperature range, a 2-bit value will be stored in mode register. So for each bank, the temperature values will be stored in mode register, not just the host case bank. For every bank, it will store here, and this temperature range as well as the corresponding bank ID will be supplied to this part, this memory controller, and this update counter circuit will ultimately write or change the refresh counter according to the temperature range. So how they will change the refresh counter? So in this table they already explained it, that if this bank temperature is 95 degree, then refresh interval should be this refresh time sorry, retention time should be 32 millisecond, and the refresh interval should be 3.91. So everything based on this table is possible to calculate. The bank ID and the temperature category will be supplied here, and according to these values, the corresponding refresh interval counter will be updated. Based on this refresh counter values, whenever required, the refresh command will be supplied to this refresh queue, and then this refresh queue will go here and then refresh these banks independently. And if this bank has high temperature, then this bank will be refreshed more quickly. If this bank is operating on a low temperature, then this bank will refresh much slower. So and what is the advantage here, that if we go for the peak temperature always, then we should block. For example, if we go for, suppose the peak temperature of this rank is 105, then we should block the entire will block the entire rank 65% of the time, only just for refreshing. But it may be case that these in only one bank out of all these banks in the rank is operating on 105 centigrade, and other banks may be working on this temperature range. So blocking the entire rank for 65% of time just for refreshing is not good. It's not optimal. So to make it optimal, they propose this concept of tar. So rest of the thing of this paper will be easily understandable. If you see this example, there is an example shown. So they have shown there are multiple banks here, and they are assuming that the bank number 3 is very close to the bottom layer of 3D design. If you remember the 3D design, then the bottom layer is the execution layer. That means all the cores are there. And I said that normally the temperature of bottom layer is very high, and this bank 3 of DRAM, that it is very close to the bottom layer. That means it will face the more temperature because of the very closeness of its hottest temperature, hottest layer of execution layer. So they are saying that suppose the bank 3, since it is very close to execution layer, it is operating at temperature 105 degrees centigrade, and two of its adjacent bank of bank 3 are operating at 85 degrees centigrade, that is bank 2 and bank 4, and other banks which are far from bank 3 are operating in 45 degree centigrade of temperature. That means this bank is very crucial. This bank is operating at very high temperature. So if we go for normal design, the normal concept or normal DRAM concept, then we'll go for this type of design. That means all the banks in the rank will refresh simultaneously, and you can see that most of the time the entire rank is blocked. This is the blockage time. This is the free time where the read write operation is performed. You can see that most of the time, that means that is 65% of the time the entire rank is blocked in normal case. But if you go for this case, this is the proposed case. It is star. In tar, only this bank, the bank which is accessing at very high temperature, is blocked for 65% of time. This is the advantage of this paper. There is a basic limitation of this paper if we want to implement this paper for the commodity DRAM design. And what is the limitation, and how we can handle this limitation, you will understand if you read this paper completely. What I'm expecting from you, that you should read this paper and try to understand this concept. Whatever all this complete flow of this tar is explained in this diagram. So what I'm expecting from you, that you should read this paper and try to understand this diagram by yourself. So I'm stopping today's lecture here. I'll explain one more interesting paper based on DRAM refresh tomorrow. Then we'll stop discussing DRAM refresh, and next week we'll discuss row hammer issues. Okay, thank you.